Writer, actress Helen Lederer. Morning.
Oh, good morning to you, Salma. Now, I have a mix of decaf and high calf in my cafetiere today.
Have
What are you
you?
drinking?
I've got tea, always sipping on tea, but
Okay,
I can't really
okay.
understand, Helen, why you've mixed caffeinated and decaffeinated. Is that just to make it weaker?
Yeah, I'm trying to be moderated
Are you?
because I can kind of whoop myself up. But I do like that strong. It just makes you feel morally better, doesn't it? Just to kind of lower it a bit, but I've still got the caffeine. For me, I cannot give up my black coffee,
Right.
and I recognise that fact, and I
Okay.
embrace it. Always
Fine.
embrace what your desires.
Well,
So,
some
what are we
might.
talking about
Well, some
today?
might
I
say,
mean,
Helen, just on that
yes,
point, some might say that
yes,
you're just sitting on the fence. You're not making a decision either way with this
yes,
mix
I
of caffeine
might.
and non-caffeine. You've got to commit
Yeah.
to something, Helen.
I'm surrendering to that.
Yeah.
I'll probably have to do a high caffeine to recover from our jaunty romp through the lighter elements in this difficult world.
Well, quite
Yes.
the lighter, the weirder, and the strange. And speaking of strange, we've got our first story. It's actually in the BBC News and on Sky News this morning about a raid on one pizzeria that was serving a strange side dish with their
I
pizza.
know. I know. I'm trying to visualize it. So we've got a pizzeria in Germany, and then apparently the number 40 on the range of pizzas on the menu is one of the best-selling pizzas. And then upon further investigation, one has discovered the people in the know were the number 40 was not only serving up, I assume, some kind of mozzarella base with pastry. What do they have? Dough, but also cannabis and cocaine. But I didn't know you ate cocaine. Am I right that this
Yes.
stash was being served with the pizza? But did people then eat it in the restaurant, or did
I
they put it
think
in the
not. So I
handbags?
think it's all a
Oh,
front. So if you order the number 40, it basically is cocaine, but they give maybe I don't know if you still get the pizza with the cocaine and then you
okay,
take the
okay.
cocaine away. Maybe you've got a night
Oh,
planned. I don't know. But my question is if you go to this pizzeria and you say, "Can I have the number 40?" Do they just slip you the cocaine, or maybe the cocaine comes in the pizza box? Because the point is this is all a front, isn't it? It's a way of dealing drugs
oh,
with the front of it
yes,
looking respectable or
yes,
looking fine.
yes.
But obviously this
So is
has
this a
been
takeaway? Do you think these? Yeah, no. So you've actually deconstructed this very well, because on first reading, I just had an image of all these customers, possibly happy customers, going in and consuming the drugs, as a side dish.
but
So I
accidentally.
got that wrong.
No, I don't think that's
Right.
happening. I think also probably what I'm guessing is because this is also a genuine pizza joint. I'm guessing
Yeah.
as well that the number 40 wasn't physically on the menu. Because imagine if you ordered it by mistake or the kids ordered it, right?
Oh my
So
lord.
I think the number 40 was only what people in the know knew about. And so
Yes.
it wasn't actually on the menu. But if you went and said, I'll have the number 40, they would,
Then you got the
then you
gear.
got the gear.
And they
Yes.
tricked him. But the clever thing was, they looking at it, so they arrested the chap who was masterminding this or was fronting it, and then they released him, and to watch what he did. And so instead of the person who'd been arrested thinking, "Oh, my number's up, my number 40's up," as it were, he then carries on his drug activity, and then he gets arrested again, and they arrest all the people in this chain of command
Yes.
who are using the pizza as a front.
Massive drug
So,
bust. But it is just
oh
hilarious to see
dear.
the headline,
Yes,
pizza with a
yes,
side of cocaine.
I
Stay
know.
in school, kids. Don't do drugs. Just eat pizza on
No,
its own is the message there,
yes.
I think. Now,
So many options without the number 40. Yes.
exactly. Now, although looking at the pictures of this story in the news, they've obviously all accompanied with pizza, and now it's just making me want a pizza, Helen.
Yes. No, I'm with you. Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
great.
with
Pizza
you.
for breakfast. Okay, this other
Cheese.
story that we've got in the Mirror is about Britney Spears marrying herself.
Yeah.
Tell us
Yeah.
more.
Well, no, you see, not that I'm a suspicious sort of, but this is a nice Instagram, so there isn't too much more information. It's a little bit mysterious, possibly. I think it's an Instagram post, and maybe it's a way to peg that she's slightly disenchanted with other relationships. Of sympathy for that. I mean, marrying yourself, is that a thing? Is that a thing? Because I used to do a routine of themed parties, and I
Right.
did oh no, what did I do? No, I've gone wrong here. I did a leave my partner at home party. That was I did. It's kind of it's around this range of themes, isn't it? Where you kind of look after yourself, as it were.
Yes,
What do you
yes.
think?
Yes, I mean, listen, I think it really speaks to women's discontent, perhaps, at relationships and the dating pool, and how perhaps it's not really satisfying them, shall we say. It is not providing the fulfillment that they had hoped it would. So I understand that. I mean, it's funny. And also, the thing about this story here is that, Brittany, we love Brittany. But
Yes.
Brittany seems perhaps that, judging by her Instagram, she's not in the best headspace that she could possibly be
And
in.
she still puts out missives, though, doesn't she? So there is a wedding dress. Maybe it's just waving at the world and making a point, but sort of make it in the. And then I think there's a caption that says, "You're supposed to be loved unconditionally, not under conditions." So
Good
there's a
point.
message in that. There's a message in that, and maybe for a while, loving yourself, making a vow to yourself, putting on a frock. I mean, I have heard of this. I think people have written books about this. It's a kind of metaphor, isn't it? I mean, I wouldn't personally do it myself. Have you done it, Salma?
I have not
you
wed
married
myself.
yourself?
I like to think that I
No.
commit to myself every day, however.
Yeah,
There you
yeah.
go.
Well, maybe we can do it in a civil way.
Do you?
Without marriage?
I don't know if you remember. I don't know if you ever watched Sex and the City, but there is a episode in which basically she goes to a baby shower. Someone takes her shoes. She had to take her shoes off at the door of the house. Someone takes them. She then asks her friend to replace the shoes. The friend refuses to because they're Manolo Blahniks. They're like $500, and then she says she's marrying herself, and on the registry list for the presents, the gift list, there's only a pair of Manolo Blahniks. So I mean, listen, I would be up for marrying myself and having a big old wedding to me just to get loads of presents.
No. So there's the point in the story. So if you benefit with a good pair of shoes, why the heck not?
Yes.
And I think your thing where you jumped in and said, you commit to yourself. Now that is good. It's about manifestation. We have to have an intention. Let's commit to ourselves. That's easily not done. We can forget, can't we, with all the busyness going on? So I think Brittany's waved a flag at us and said, value yourself. So let's take it.
And that's a good lesson for a Wednesday morning, I'd say. Okay, we've got another story here in the BBC, and it's about one deaf dog who's learning sign language.
I know, and it's the dog is so beautiful, and I love it when people, because I'm really loving that program where the man wears a nice waistcoat and corduroy trousers and changes dog's behaviour.
I don't know that program. What's it called?
He just dogs behaving badly or very badly.
Oh, okay.
He goes into homes where the dogs have just been allowed to behave badly, and he cures them in record time, just by giving them toffees or not toffees. You don't give toffees to dogs.
Sweeties.
But it's a beautiful thing when you see a troubled dog, and when they call the dog, she's a lovely girl. That made me smile.
Yes. So tell us what's happened to this dog, because this dog was rescued, wasn't she?
Yeah, the dog was rescued. Unfortunately, the tips of her ears were removed. Some kind of extraordinary thing happened, so she couldn't hear. But then the people who rescued her are teaching her sign language, so she can lie down, sit, dropping a ball. And actually, she was pregnant as well. And now her lovely daughter has been rehomed, Daisy, the daughter. So, but they are looking for a home, and they do actually say she's a big girl or something.
Yes.
I mean, whoever owns, goes to it has got to be aware. They've got to have a sofa big enough to share.
Well, yes. And it just made me think, God, they're so smart that you can teach a dog sign language. Also really, really sad that she had, the tips of her ears are missing because they were cropped, which is, by the way, it's a procedure which is illegal in England and Wales. Why would you ever do that to a dog and then leave it chained on an estate? Awful.
Awful.
But also, how lovely that she's learning sign language. And I just think that was quite remarkable.
It's a happy story, and we want, and she's had her children, or she's had her daughter, and she can do certain things, and now we want someone to, give her a home.
Yes, quite. So a good ending. Now, what is really remarkable is this story in Sky News, and it's about a woman trapped between boulders after trying to get her mobile phone, which fell down the gap. Helen, talk us through this. I mean, the pictures are absurd.
I know. Well, you see, this is kind of like, I mean, obviously, in real life, this cannot mean a happy tale for the person.
7 hours she was upside down.
7 hours upside down, the pursuer of her dropped phone. Now, why do we find it funny? I mean, it's cruel in a way, but because the person was upside down, and that cannot have been, this is not a happy situation for anyone, but I suppose just visually that it's a striking shot that you get a pair of feet. But the reality is she's with friends. She obviously is out with her friends, drops her phone, and then she was stuck for an hour before her friends, this is what disturbed me, were called for help.
Well, I think her friends were trying to get her out themselves, because it is embarrassing. You don't want to have to call the emergency services and say, hi, I'm trapped between a boulder.
Upside down.
And it took them 7 hours to free her, and loads of teams, apparently.
I know, because they had to build a whole new infrastructure, maybe a new house, who knows, to make sure that the boulders didn't kind of
crush her to death. Yeah.
Oh my God. You see, this is a story that can turn, the danger there. But they did that. They did it. They rescued her, and they did say it was rewarding on many levels. Oh no, they said it was incredibly so, and so it would be.
Yes.
But I hope she thanked them. I mean, what would she say when she comes out?
And apparently she only had a few bumps and bruises, which is good. Yes, but, I mean, she must be deadly embarrassed.
And the phone is still there.
And the phone is still there at the bottom of the gorge. She's never getting that back.
I mean, maybe want to just have like sometimes with the glasses, you put them on a chain. Maybe you should have a phone on a chain if you're going hiking near boulders.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
And maybe don't get yourself into silly situations.
No, and the friend should have called earlier, but it still probably would have taken 7 hours.
Probably.
But, I think the amusing thing there is it's a relatively, one can live without one's mobile phone. So that, the pursuit of the mobile phone, just let it go.
Well, time is money. You could have got 7 hours back. You would have had to spend some money, yes, but you would have got some time back. Yeah, probably would have been. Yeah, would have. Listen, I'm not. Hold on to your phone, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, always.
Helen, what a pleasure having you on. Thank you for joining us this morning.
It's always a joy, and we're going to have a lovely day now, aren't we? We've set our intention. The day is ready for us. We're going to have a delightful time, and you, especially with your mixed caffeine decaffeinated. Maybe put a bit more caffeine in, Helen. Do you know what? I am.
Excellent. Good girl. Talk to you soon, Helen. Thank you so much. Bye. Helen Lederer there.